Hi, everyone. This is Create Good Conversations. Welcome. I come on every Sunday with a new guest. And today it's Heather from Farmhouse for 8. Heather is she's a farmhouse flipper first, and then she's also a vintage seller. So she has quite a cool story. Here she comes. Maybe. Hi, friend.
Hi.
How are you? Happy
I'm
Sunday.
yes, happy Sunday. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Are you nervous?
You know, I'm not.
No, it's a little different though, kind of. It's just feels
It
different
is.
to me always
It
than a
is.
live sale.
It is. I mean, you always are going to get those. I still do even on live sales, and I've been doing them for years, and you just kind of, I don't know, you always get that little,
I do find until the thing starts spinning.
yeah,
Then it's like,
we don't want
no,
spinning.
no, I mean, like when it's counting down, like we're telling your people
Oh,
you're
yeah,
here,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
I thought you meant when we have bad connection,
Oh,
because
that
that gets
too.
me like, yeah,
I never know
yeah.
what to do. Do you just like stay in your role and keep going, or I just never really know because it seems like it's different for
Yeah,
everyone too. Like some people will say, "Hey, it's not blurry for me,"
yeah.
and other people can't see what you're holding up. So anyway,
Hmm.
I just think Instagram every single time it fools me every time.
Exactly. Well, they got to keep us on our toes, right? I mean, we can't get comfortable.
Technology in general has me spinning,
Yep.
usually chasing my tail.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
This particular account, for whatever reason, doesn't let me go longer than an hour. So,
That's how my
uh,
Facebook is. My Facebook sales cut me off at an hour.
is that how all of Facebook Lives are? Or,
I don't know. I never really had a problem with it before, and then I'm like, that's probably a good thing because I don't need to be rattling on for more than an hour.
yeah, you guys fly through your independent sales. I don't know how you keep it all straight.
There are days. Well, Facebook, your comments stay. Instagram, you lose them, but on Facebook, your comments you can always rewatch. So
Yeah,
that's the only
Brooke,
thing
when she
that's
does
really
hers, I
good.
think she has two devices or something, and then she'll stay on Instagram and go back through the comments and write
Oh,
everything down.
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, which is different for the rest of us that just sell on IG.
Yeah,
We just, you know,
hurry up and write.
yeah, hurry up and write. Or, sometimes I'll have people screenshotting or something like that. That
Yeah,
helps too.
that
But
works slick too.
you want to tell us what we're drinking?
We are drinking
Woo!
oat milk and brown sugar. I have mine shaken espresso, a big guy, because I need it today. I'm feeling a little crappy. Um,
It's very, very good. It's what, oat milk, and I put brown sugar.
yep, oat milk, brown sugar. I put a little cinnamon in mine.
Oh, good.
Um,
Okay.
and then my son's girlfriend bought me pumpkin ice cube molds, so I have a few pumpkin ice cubes because you got to be a little extra, right?
That's so fun. No, coffee in the middle of the day, I think iced is the way to go. If I drink it hot, I get tired almost.
Yeah, I like my hot in the morning, but I do like my iced in the afternoon, and it is going to be. You said it was 90 where you are, where here I've been outside getting ready for snow on Friday. So we're getting the gardens and everything kind of put to sleep and the pens and everything ready for winter, the heated waters, all the things out because
Is this typical time in the year to already have snow in Minnesota?
um last year we did in October. It doesn't stick around long, but like yesterday or 2 days ago, it was like in the high 60. It was almost probably 70 degrees, super nice. And then by Friday, it's going to be like 40. So it's
Do you like it, the
roller.
snow?
I
Is there a part of you
I
that
do till about February. Then I'm just like, I'm freaking over this. Like, why do I live here? But I do love it for Christmas. Like, I don't know. There's just something about having snow at Christmas time. And I don't know. I live for that. Probably just for like the nostalgic effect of it. I don't know.
you
But
always
um,
100% of the time have white Christmas?
yeah. Yep, at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Last year was extra. I mean, we had so much snow, and like I said, come February, you're just like, not,
I
not more snow.
That's similar to when we were in the Seattle area. Like you really look forward to fall, some of the, rainy days kind
Yep,
of, or, you
yep.
embrace them. The leaves are changing all the time. But by February, you're like, these days are literally like 8 hours of light. Like
It's
it,
terrible. It
it
is.
gets, and then you start to have you start to have a little bit of like spring start to pop up. Daffodils are
Hmm.
big in that area. And so a little bit they'll come, and then it does not stop raining until truly July. We always said 4th of July is when it stops raining in that area.
Yep.
So, you're like ready for spring in like March, and you really get days that look that way, but
Yeah, we
it's,
don't have
it,
much for spring, and we don't have a really long fall. Summer and winter. I mean, if we could like cut winter in half, I would be good with that. But it's a good time to just kind of rest for a while too. I mean, not we don't like rest, but we don't ever rest. But
you
just
guys
as
are
far
really
as like
busy.
being like full, pounding 24/7, it seems like we just need that little extra break. So it
You've been
is
in that
kind of nice.
area your whole life, right?
Yep, we were both born and raised in Minnesota. Have never moved far. I would say, yeah, just like a town over maybe. So like, yeah, like I said, like 30-mile radius
Your
within
whole life.
probably even, yep, my whole
Would
life. So
you have it any other way? Do you have like regrets about not, say, going away to college or anything like that?
I'm such a homebody that, there are times I wonder like, oh, what if? But and maybe it's because my family's all here and I'm a family girl. So, yeah, she's moving to Tennessee. She's trying to convince me to move to Tennessee,
You
which I would love to
probably love
travel
it
there
there too,
someday.
except for it's
I
hot there.
probably would. I've heard very good things about that, and another good friend of mine is moving there too, and so I will probably visit Tennessee someday. But no, I like the Four Seasons. I don't know. I think I'll always be in Minnesota or close, like a connecting state,
I would
if
rather
anything. But
live further north than we are.
yeah.
We're 300 days, truly 300 days above 80, maybe even 85.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do that. I like warm, but I like my my layers
Your
and my like
style's that way too,
yep,
right? Your style and your
yep, yep, my layers and I just yeah, that's my thing. So
Okay, so
um
tell us a little bit about you, because somebody may not know you that's watching. I don't know. I feel like everybody knows you, but
probably. Well, I'm Heather and I have my farmhouse 8 for 8 account and then my Esther Marie's account, which is the account that I sell on. Except born and raised in Minnesota. We have 6 kids combined between the both of us. I have 3 boys, and Aaron has 2 boys and a daughter. And yeah, what else?
hence farmhouse for eight.
That
That's where your
Yep,
handle
that's
is
where
from.
Farmhouse for Eight was born. When we bought a farmhouse together and all moved together, that was our first kind of house second house that we renovated, but the house that we all kind of meshed together. And so that's when Farmhouse for Eight was born. Um,
So does
yeah,
that mean you had a house you renovated that you didn't live in?
we've renovated a lot that we haven't lived in. So I think we've done 9 total, and we've lived in one, two. We've lived in three of the nine that we've
Mostly
done.
you're renovating it and then moving into it, or are you living in them?
No,
Wow,
it's always living in chaos.
same.
We moved to
That's what
this
we're
last.
doing. It's a zoo.
We moved to this one that we're in currently 3 falls ago. It was right around this time, 3 years ago. And it's been a project ever since. Yeah. And it seems like just when we get everything done and everything's good and I love it, then we move.
What
And we
do
will
you
move.
think that's why? What part of your personality embraces that? Because it must work for you. Because otherwise you wouldn't do it.
Well, um, I don't know. I think that's just how it's always kind of he's a builder. Um, so that's kind of how he started out, was building and selling or renovating and selling to kind of get his life rolling. And um my brother's a real estate agent, and so when the market's good, I feel like he's pushing on the door, and it, it's okay. I mean, I don't, but it would be nice just to kind of enjoy all the hard work for a little while anyway. Like I said, it just seems like the last house that we were in, we finally got the basement done, finally got the everything, and then it was like, oh, time to sell. And that was probably my favorite house. That was the magazine house.
That was the. Is that also the one you guys literally transported?
Nope, that wasn't that
No,
one.
that's a
That wasn't
different
the
one.
transported one. Nope, we didn't live in the transported one. That
They
was just,
literally picked up a
yeah,
house and moved it down the road. You got to
yeah,
tell us
probably
about
eight
that in a minute.
miles. It
Yeah.
probably moved probably 5 to 8 miles, I would say, on the back of a truck, or on the back of a semi trailer thing. It just, yeah, we just picked it up and moved it. They
But you
took the
didn't live in
highlight.
that.
We didn't live in that one. Nope. The one we lived in was the one I sent you with the raccoons and the bear.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That was
They literally
that was that one.
had a bear that lived in this house before they did. That's so
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, we had
That's so
the bear.
Minnesota.
Yeah. The bear was in hibernation, and they took the bear from the house. And then several raccoons living in that one. Most people probably would have burnt that to the ground, but it had great bones. So
What
yeah,
does that
we
mean? That
just
had great bones.
the structure was very well built. So if you can look past the piles of raccoon poop and the bear that ripped the old mattress apart, and all the windows are gone and the roof is caving in, and the 8,000 gallons of water, literally 8,000 gallons of water in the basement. If you can look past all of that and have a vision, I mean, as long as the structure, and back then they built, I mean, this was like 100, it was 100 years old. So they really paid attention to the bones of the house back then. They were very, very well built. So, it had good bones. So we just, if you, like I said, you have to be able to see past that part, because if you can't, it's probably not going to work for you. But
Do you feel
um,
like that's like instinctual for you, or do you think that's something you've learned? Probably both. I'm
a
guessing
little
that by
bit both. Like Aaron can look at it and know, where I have to feel it. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I can't get that bad vibes about something. Like, if I go in there, I don't want to feel afraid. I don't want to feel icky. Like, I just don't want those vibes. So if I just need to go in, and like, if I got a good feel about it, which I did, and it was scary. I mean, it definitely was. If you ever want to look, you can go on to my Farmhouse for 8 page, and I think I have maybe a highlight bubble or something
there is.
on
Yeah.
there,
Mhm.
where we kind of started. I mean, there was the lady that stayed in the house before us, saved everything. She must have lived maybe through some really bad times, so she saved every um, like plastic pie container, every soup can, every piece of mail. And then when she died, her daughter didn't want anything to do with the house, so they boarded up the windows and abandoned the house. And over the years, kids and people had went inside the house, trashed it. I mean, threw things all over, broke the windows out, took the barricades down, um, had parties in there. It just destroyed the house in general. So,
How long was it
but
abandoned? Do you know how long?
how
No
long?
one left it. Yeah, that it
Um,
was abandoned.
I I would say a good 20. Oh
Wow.
gosh, it had to be a good 20 years because rewinding when I was a lot younger, I used to drive down the road, and this house sat really far off the road, and it was surrounded by, it was overgrown in trees and brush. And you always look, I mean, anybody that likes old houses always like, oh, look at that. How cool. I wonder what's in there. You all kind of like Des, she always goes and walks through
She
those
does, yeah.
old abandoned houses and places. And I think that's just in your blood to do that. So I always looked at it from afar and always wondered, does somebody live there? What's the story of that? And then 20 years later, um, we get a phone call or whatever from my brother saying, there's this house. I think it would be a great renovation house for you guys. So we went to look at it. Lo and behold, it's that house that I always wondered about. Um, so we looked at it, and like I said, it was rough. It was in rough shape, but um, it's, yeah, super. It turned out it's more than I could have ever imagined after we
How
had gotten
long did it take?
it.
How many years or how
It
many hours
wasn't,
did you
it
put into
was,
this thing?
we closed on um April 15th because I remember it was like tax day. Um, we were all living in a camper. There was 7 of us in this shitty camper.
Mhm.
And a fish house, and we had a porta potty outside. Everything was muddy. Oh, we cooked outside. We had a swimming pool to do our dishes because we didn't have electricity. We didn't have water hookup out there. I mean, because it was abandoned, so we didn't have any of that yet. So we lived in this camper for, it was probably 2.5 months. And any ounce of free time that we had, we put into the house
We're
because it
working,
was
yeah.
miserable living in that camper. So it was probably 3, 4 months at best that we gutted that sucker, cleaned it up, and we were moving in. I think we moved in July. So let's see, August, September, October, or August, September. Oh no, it couldn't have been July. April. May, June, July. Yeah, 3 months. So we bought it in April and moved in July.
Dang. And then you're still working on it after that, I'm sure. Or like,
Yeah, I
is
mean
it done? Yeah.
the basement wasn't finished at that point. So we were doing that, but I mean I remember our very first indoor meal, we put a piece of cardboard on the floor and ate spaghetti, and I was never so excited in my life to have a hot, non-grilled meal. And I don't care if I had to eat it off a piece of cardboard on the floor. We had spaghetti on the floor, and we slept in a house, so it was
What did you learn about yourself, your family? I mean, you must have been learning things about the unit as a whole, but yourself daily at this point.
um appreciate the conveniences for sure of a roof over your head, a sink in your kitchen, electricity, an indoor toilet. um Definitely, I would never go camping again in my life after that. I mean, people enjoy it.
Have
They
you
do.
not? Have you
I've
actually
not.
not gone
I
camping?
have no desire to jump back in that thing. That was the worst. That
And
was the worst.
I'm sure at that time you're thinking, I'm never taking on a project like this ever again
We
either,
we
right?
say that every time we finish one up, we'll get it done, and by that time you're just so sick of it. And we always say, this is it. This is the last one. And then you give it like maybe a year or so, 2 years, and something will pop up, and then you're like, okay, one more time. It's one more time. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I think again, it's in the blood kind of thing where you just can't stop. It's like one
We
of
do
those
it
things.
every time too. We like, the military moves us or whatever, so we're kind of forced to take on that part. But then we think we're not going to take on a project house, right? Like we're just going
Yep,
to buy a
I'm just gonna
turnkey.
buy
We're just
moving.
going to buy something that fits, get some convenient area to live in. And it just never seems to quite work that way. It seems like even the like two houses ago for us, it was turnkey the house. It was
Yep.
brand new, but there was the lot was seriously dirt. And
Oh,
so guess what we did? Like create an outdoor living space. There's an outdoor kitchen, there's fire pits, there's a splash pad. None of that was like we weren't supposed to be having projects, but I
right.
don't think it was even a couple months and there was some sort of bobcat in my backyard, like the machine.
Oh,
You just can't, you don't know when to leave a good thing alone, I
you
guess.
just
I
don't.
mean, if
You
it's in
don't.
your blood.
It is. That's exactly it. It's in the blood, and I don't know. It's kind of like junking, or picking or anti. I mean, yeah, I probably have enough shit, but I can't. Like, if I find a good deal or a bargain, you just keep going. So it's
Yeah, you
just,
kind of get vibes like that off of items too. Like you were talking
hmm
about with a house, like if I get a good vibe off, yeah, me too.
yep,
And it has
yep,
nothing to do with the dollars or even reselling it. Like I just am attracted to things.
yeah, yep,
Weird, kind of
a hundred
weird.
percent. Yep, yep. That is 100%. I didn't see a question.
I think it's really weird. So at what point do you decide I'm going to document this whole thing on Instagram?
Um, oh, somebody asked, do I plan to stay in this house you are? No, we do not plan to stay in this house.
Hmm.
We're gonna go one more time. This house that we're in right now is, I don't even know how to explain it. The listing for this house, the highlight was equal to 16 stall garage, something, something. It was a hunting retreat spot with a horse arena attached, a sporting goods shop attached, a dog grooming parlor, kennels, living quarters, and hunters' living quarters, all in one building. Um, it thousands and thousands and thousands of square feet in one building. So oh no, we're not staying here forever. Right now it works because seven of us are living in this house, and with my business and Aaron's construction business and where we're at now, it works for us, but I don't want steps when I'm 60. I don't want this much yard to take care of. I don't want this much house to take care of. So no, definitely not our final destination. This, and I would love
So
just
it's
to,
like, is it like a metal building that
yep,
then has its wow? And it's two
yeah,
story. The last picture in the reel, is that the back of it?
nope, that
Like where the porch up
was
the
the
back?
front under construction.
Oh,
So
the
so
front.
this one had to be ripped apart too because it
Okay.
was
Okay.
neglected, and the guy that stayed here let all the water pipes and everything freeze. So in the it wasn't insulated, and just, living in Minnesota, things happen. So we had to rip the whole front side of the house off.
Got it.
Um, put a new roof. There was hail damage, water leaking, our lights were flickering in the house. So that's where the whole front was ripped off.
Wow.
And yeah, so it's like a house, if you don't know what, maybe some people, maybe that's a Minnesota thing, but it's like a shed house, warehouse almost size, all put together. So like I said, there was a riding arena in the back that's attached. And we take storage units for people that bring their campers and things in here to store. And yeah, so then my whole shop. So anybody that's ever watched me do a video, that like goes on forever. And that used to be the dog kennels and the grooming parlor and the tack room. And then the living quarters is 2 stories. The lower living quarters were where the hunters would stay because they had a pheasant farm here. So the hunters would stay in the lower level, and then the people that were here before us lived in the upper quarters of it. So, yeah, it's a lot of house.
Wow. So did they build this? This was their
The
idea of a
Yep, the people prior, so there was one more
what a
owner prior to
concept.
them,
What a
and the
concept.
guy that originally built it was going to do like horse training and boarding and all the things like that. So that's where the horse arena part came in. And then I don't know how the living quarter, I think the guy that was before us kind of did like a Mod Podge living quarters, and
Wow.
it's everything's extra and this like extra big but not done right. So they half-assed everything, putting it bluntly. So
Yeah.
we come in and
Well,
and fix
it wasn't
everybody's
designed
stuff.
originally for somebody to live there
I don't
all year, it sounds like.
I don't think it
Yeah.
was designed for somebody to live in. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not like this. But it is now. I think, for somebody down the road, like a bed and breakfast, oh, would be awesome because let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 bedrooms, and then there's a whole nother apartment off of the house as well, with another bedroom. So, and all the bedrooms are very big and good size. So it's definitely could be like a cool um, bed and breakfast or some kind of like retreat
Yeah, it sounds
place
like a
or something
retreat
like that.
style, like
Yep.
yeah, horses and the
Because we are in the country and, somebody that really wanted to do, I shouldn't say I don't like people. I I like my privacy and I like my space. So, I mean, we've tossed around ideas of having, but I just don't want random people just, I mean, there's camper hookups and everything here. I mean, they have parties and they had camper hookups in the back, and there's a lot of potential for it. We just like our little bubble out here. So
wow. Wow. So I want to know at what point you go when you decide that you're going to, especially if you're that private, that you are going to share the journey on Instagram. Or was it Facebook first?
um Facebook was first.
Yeah.
Instagram
Okay.
came probably in 2021. I had my farmhouse for I guess I did start my account in like 20. It was just kind of the house renovation stuff, really just kind of outsider, really wasn't like a big deal. And then, you know, you share, but that's just a itty bitty little snippet of your life, on here. I like to share projects. I like to share, the hard work that we put into things. I don't overshare about, my boys or anything like that. They would prefer I not. It's not that they don't. They just are like, yeah, mom,
Not their thing,
not
yeah.
their thing. So yeah, I mean, I like to share my gardening stuff and that kind of thing, but overall, I'm a pretty private person, I guess I
Then
could say.
somebody reaches out to you and says, "We want to photograph this and put you in a national
Yeah.
magazine." How do you
That
feel
was
about this when
actually
you get the
that was
call?
actually
Like,
that was actually a dream. I mean, literal dream that I'd never ever, you know, they say dream big. Well, that was a big dream. And um, at first I thought it was a scam. I really
I
did.
bet,
I
I bet.
I had it wasn't the magazine that contacted me. It was the photographers. And they're pretty not so, they're pretty private people on their Instagram page too. So it was like, I don't know, this doesn't seem legit. And I didn't give him any information or anything out. And she said, we'll be in touch. And I thought, well, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And we were getting ready for a graduation party that day for one of the boys. And she called and I literally bawled, went running outside. Aaron was outside in the greenhouse getting something ready. And I, yeah, he's like, oh my God, what happened? I was like, I'm gonna be in a magazine. You know, I'm kind of an emotional wreck like that. And so, yeah. And yeah, it was a ride. I mean, and then it was like, hurry up, we got to get all this stuff done, you know. It was an awesome motivator for that. And it was fun. It was a cool experience, and it was the fall issue of well, they photographed a year ahead of time, and then the magazine came out in 20. I had it right by me because I was like, she's gonna ask. It was the autumn of 2020, so they photographed in 2019, and the magazine came out in 2020. Yeah, so that was just super cool and surreal, and yeah, I definitely a dream come true for sure, and it was awesome.
Does your account just blow up after that, or were you already kind of gaining on a consistent
I
basis?
already had a good size following
Okay.
at that point.
You must have, in
It
order
was,
for them to even know to get word that you had done all this, right? So I mean, somebody found your account, I guess.
yeah, I don't know, you know, because I've seen super tiny accounts get
Mm.
published before too. So I guess it's just, you know, putting it out there, and I don't know. I guess I never asked her how she found my account, or how that all went down, but yeah, like I said, it was just super cool. And then to see it come out in actual print, and you know, like Aaron and I are both in there, and our dog is in there, and the chickens, and it's just cool. And then my favorite house of all of the renovations that we've done is in that print. So that's just super cool.
And you leave it. You decide that you're going to sell it
Mhm.
and to move. How does that feel?
I miss the house. We kind of outgrew that house, or we would have by now. Um, because it was an old style farmhouse, you know, and back then things weren't overly big, nothing like this. So, you know, they crammed kids in bedrooms back then, and they had one bathroom and tiny closets, and everything worked for them. And if it was up to me, I think I was born in the wrong era. I would totally live that way again, because I like slow living. I just do. I Yeah, so again, my brother is a real estate agent, and we were looking to eventually move and maybe go to our final destination. Checked out a couple different properties, and nothing panned out for us. We had a blueprint drawn up and everything, and that's what we were going to do. And it all kind of fell through. And oh, what happened next? He sent a listing on a text. It said equal to 16. So I didn't even open. I said, no, we are downsizing. That was bold. We are downsizing. Um, and then Aaron says, oh, I'm curious. Let's just go look at it. Let's just go look. I'm just curious what the 16 stall garage deal is about. So we did, and ended up putting a offer in on the house before we even left. And it was like a fire sale. It was going up for auction. And yeah, we sold our house in August or September, and we were moved in, or no, October. And we were moved in here, like just bing, bang, boom, it just went. And here we are.
Wow.
So.
And because you have so much space, the other side of your business has I mean, it's now you have a pop-up shop and right? Or were you
Yep.
doing all that stuff before? Or is this
I
kind
had
of when
a
you
storefront.
decided to start selling?
I live in a smaller town and a town that's definitely not booming. And now I live in the sticks. Minnesota, how would I explain my town? I don't know. I love my people here. It's just they're not into antiques. I shouldn't I don't know how to explain it. I have a very small clientele in this area. 95% of my business is out of state now. Again, which I never would have thought. It started with a small pop-up shop 2 houses ago, back before farmhouse or antiques was really a big thing, but it was kind of in my blood. A lot of handmade, crafty stuff like that. So the pop-up shops and the Facebook Lives started because of Brooke from the junk parlor. I had stuff to get rid of to move from my little pop-up shops or whatever. So I thought, hey, I'm just gonna, and I remember sweating, so nervous, got a few tips from Brooke. And I just said one day I'm going to do it. And I think I had 6 people on my first Facebook Live, and I was pumped. I
Did
think
you
I sold 3
know
things.
Brooke in person, or you just knew her because she was selling on Facebook?
I just met her through Facebook and Instagram. Like, we just kind of clicked, and we've actually tried to hook up like 10 different times now, and it's never worked out. But she was very helpful in helping me and getting me up off the ground. And it was like 6 sales later, I had my first shipment, an item that I had to ship. It was super small, but somebody believed in me enough to give me their money and let me ship them their product. And I ran out of stuff, and I was like, I need more stuff. Like, and then COVID hit. So people were stuck at home buying from me because they couldn't go. I mean, it was a good year for me. So then I was like, I need more stuff. I'm selling my stuff so I can move and I don't have to move it. Now I'm like, I need more stuff because the people want more stuff. Um, and then it just spiraled. So then I thought I'm gonna go on Instagram, and then I got hooked up with Renee at Havenberry Vintage and Jeanette at Life Has Your Purpose. And they took me in for my very first Squares sale, the Saturday flea market Saturday. And then it just went. And then I did my very first live, and then I went live with you guys, and it's been a ride ever since. So nothing ever had I imagined that this would be my full-time job. I just never thought that, but I'm super happy that it is.
Which parts do you like the best about it? Do you like
I love
the pop-up shop
styling.
side, or do you like which
So
part?
I missed what you said, sorry.
When you do your pop-up
I
sales,
love
like your
the
in-person
styling
sales,
part
that
of it.
seems really fun to me.
Yep, I love styling. I love putting things together. I wish I had a little more traffic flow because, it's kind of a downer. You put so much work into something, and I don't get a lot of people out here. But it gives me a reason to get all my stuff in order, make my space pretty, and then I can just go through with my camera and do my lives and shop my shop virtually.
How does that work? Do you do well on that when you're like, hey, everybody watch me walk through here and screenshot, and then does it work out pretty well
People
for you?
love that.
Do they?
They really do. They like to see things set up. A lot of people need like a visual, like you can't just, they might like the item, but they're like, what the hell do I do with this? So they like to see it kind of set up like that, and that's why I do like square sales too, because you can kind of style it how you would in your home. So I seem to do well with that, and that's my favorite part. I love photographing things. I love making them look pretty. Selling live for me is fun, like on my Wednesdays. It's just a lot of work together, a lot of items. You don't know what's gonna sell. You don't get to style it. But I liked interacting with talking. I guess you don't get to talk. This way we do. But like my
Sure.
customers on the other end don't get to talk, but they listen to me rattle for an hour every Wednesday, and they really like it. And they're my business. So even if I only sell 5 things, I have my faithfuls that show up for me every week, and I just can't let them down. I just can't.
No, I know those people are, yeah, I agree. That's why we do it, is for
That
those
is why
people that,
we do it. It's not always about the money. I mean, I've had people tell me one that sticks out is a gal. She's like, I lost my husband, and we used to sell antiques, and he kind of got watching me on Wednesdays with you. And she said, our last moments together were watching you on your live. And she's like, that's your lives get me through my days on Wednesday. I mean, how do you even stop doing? I
and the
just,
thing is, we don't even realize how many of those stories there are. They may not be that,
right.
heartfelt or, but it is. Saturdays for us are the same way that
Yep.
some people that are alone, where they feel like they're hanging out with
Yeah,
us, and maybe otherwise they wouldn't have other humans to hang out with.
exactly.
We don't
It is,
realize how big
and
it
for
is.
people that don't understand it as far as, people are like, how can you have Instagram friends or friends you've never met? And it's like some of these people I feel more closer to on here than I do like my local, people. You have some really heartfelt conversations, over voice messages or, just different stuff. And it's weird how you just connect. But I just
And
feel
they're
like
rooting
all of
for
us are
you.
kind of
They
on the
really are
same,
rooting for you.
yeah.
Like there's people that are really rooting for you. Your neighbor's not rooting for you,
No,
or like mine. I don't even know
no,
mine.
I don't either. No, no, this community and in my farmhouse parade page was like the home decor community, which is completely different than my vintage selling friends and buyers. I mean, it's two different things. And I have neglected my farmhouse parade page for a while because I just have been so busy on this end, but I do miss my friends over there too, and I try to communicate with them once in a while too. I'll pop up and have like all these messages, "Are you okay?" They check in on you, and they're really good about that. But yeah, trying to juggle. I didn't think juggling 2 accounts was going to be as much work as it was, but they're like 2 different accounts. So like
Do
my
you
estimator.
advise do you advise for that if you're kind of going a different direction, specifically this page? I really wasn't sure if I should just stay on my Create Good Company and just do this from here or from there, sorry, or if
Yep,
I should create a whole nother page and have it be its own entity. And I really went back and forth. It was
yep,
probably for this whole thing, the thing that I was the most stuck on, the decision that I was the
yep.
most stuck on was, do you create a whole new page? So how do you feel about it? Do you think you made the right choice? All that.
I do. I went back and forth too because I had 29,000 followers on my other page. Uh, But I was like, whenever I would post something that I would have, then people would always think that stuff is for sale. So if I'd post a picture of a mantle, then they'd be like, oh, I want to buy that. Well, that's not for sale. That's my. So I was doing that a lot. And then when I did my flea market Saturday, um, Jeanette was like, I have my selling page and my other page. And she's like, I'd say just go for it. Try it. If you don't like it, you can always go back. And I'm glad I did because my Esther Marie's page is truly about people that are looking for antiques, people that are, inspired by that, where my farmhouse 8 for 8 account was um projects, decor, things like that. Whereas my Esther Marie's people are probably interested in that stuff too. But then there's just a page where they can go where they know everything that they see there is for sale.
Yeah, I imagine
Where
your crossover is high percentage of crossover from at least from Esther Marie to Farmhouse Freight.
a lot of people didn't even know that I had two accounts. Like they didn't even know, like I didn't know any of when I first created and kind of went into the selling end of this. I didn't know any of those accounts. Like those were never in my feed. Like I'm just like, who's Ivy? Whose house? I didn't,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
I didn't know, all these people were talking about this, and that I felt like super out of place for the longest time because you have your community, where I had my community over there, and none of those people were like over here with me. So that was, but it's two different communities, and I love them both. I really, really, really do.
Yeah, I'm glad that nobody's forced to pick. Either way,
Yeah.
like it's just Desiree's the same thing. She has no regrets about having a goods page
Yep.
versus her big account or whatever. But it's it's I love her big account as much as I love her. So that's why I say I imagine the
Both.
crossover is
Yep. Yep.
at least we love to see how y'all style your own homes.
And a lot of
Versus
people that are
just what
probably
you
here
hold
today
up.
are probably like, "Oh, we never even knew you have," because I don't ever talk about my farmhouse parade account or my magazine debut or anything like that on my Esther Marie's. I don't ever think of it, and I don't ever tell people, "Well, head on over to this." Like I said, I kind of took a break from that account for a while because it just got overwhelming
Well,
to
and
try
if
to
you
keep up with.
move and you move houses and kind of the,
I mean,
things
I
that
could
you
have
were
tons
used to.
of content. I mean, it's not like I don't have content because we're doing projects all the time, but it's
Yeah.
just the time to photograph it, write about it, talk about it, answer questions, different things like that. And I don't want to never interact with anybody and just be a poster and not talk to anybody. And um, so I just kind of took a break from it, but I really do miss it. And I'm excited to kind of jump back into that account a little bit more. Now that Christmas is rolling around, and the outdoor end of it's slowing down, the gardening and the goats and the all the things. So
Talk to me about that. You have a massive garden.
mhm,
Vegetables or flowers or both or
both.
both?
Um, I have a huge flower garden in the front of our house. That was kind of there a little bit when we moved in, just full of weeds. So I took on that, and then we did a huge, huge garden this last year. We kind of did when we moved in, but it was just, it didn't we just didn't have enough
Didn't
time
make
when we first
the
moved here.
priority list,
No.
probably. Yeah.
But this last year we really put a lot of time and effort into our garden, and I did a cut flower garden, and I did a huge vegetable garden. And Aaron loves gardening too, so it's not just me. In fact, I didn't garden or can or do any of that until I met him. Um, he came from a gardening family, and I was like, never 20 years ago, you told me I'd be canning, I would have laughed in your face because that just wasn't me, but I love it now. I love kind of that homesteading thing and like growing our own food, and um I can't all my animals, I'm not to the point in life where I can eat my animals or like butcher, like raise my own. I fall in love with all my animals. They all have names and they're just here because they make me happy. Our chickens lay eggs, but I mean, we don't do anything with the goats. I take them for walks, and they just make me happy. I told you at the end of every day, I take them out of the pen, we sit in the grass, and that's just my like end of the day kind of chill moment is with my animals. They just bring me some kind of peace that is needed after a long day.
A long
So,
day. Yeah.
yep,
Yeah,
yep.
absolutely. Yeah, I've seen you walking your goats in the snow and all sorts of things. I grew up on a big ranch, so animals are not foreign to me, but I was like, why goats? I wonder why goats. But
They're all
people that have
rescues.
goats are like dog people. Goat people are like dog people. Like they
Yep.
swear, that goats have you tell me, why goats?
They were rescues. I don't know. I
If you
somehow
love them, you love them, right?
get talked into these things. You know, the first one I have had was he actually I wanted the first one. Just thought I needed a goat for a pet, and he how did that end up going? He's my unicorn goat. He has one horn. And then they told me, well, you can't just have one because they're herd animals. And then about a month later, they called and said, we have this goat. His mom died during birth, and he had a twin that died, and he needs a home, and he needs to be bottle fed. So I took him in because I needed a partner goat for this other goat. So then I just had the two, and I loved them. We went on walks and through the woods, and like I said, they just brought me a lot of joy and a lot of peace. And then my two miniatures I got just back in March. Eleanor was abandoned by her mom. She was one of four babies, and they can only do like three max. So our
Wow.
neighbor, her husband was going through a cancer treatment at the time, and we were kind of taking care of their farm. And we went over there not expecting. They had 14 babies born overnight, and she was starving. So I brought her home to bottle feed her, and then I got attached to her. I was going to give her back, and I couldn't, and she didn't want her back. She said, you can have her. Well, she's a miniature, and my other ones are like 200 pounds now, and she just itty bitty. So she needed a boyfriend. So then I got Eddie, and he came from that same farm. So now I got Eleanor, Eddie, Oliver, and Elmer.
Do
And
they get along? All of them,
the big goats
typically.
and the little goats are not together.
Okay.
Oliver,
Okay.
he's
That's what I
just
figured.
kind of a jerk and only likes me. He's very protective over me and doesn't like anyone else. Literally, he's just a jerk. Um, but he's nobody likes him. He's a jerk, and everybody's afraid of him except me. I mean, I can manhandle. He's 200 pounds, and he got out a few weeks ago, and everyone's like, I'm not touching him. They're standing there with the hose and trying to keep him away, and I just grab him and pull him back into the barn and put him away. And he's a jerk, and so no, they're not. Nobody can be in with him because he's not nice, but I love him.
You love him.
I love him. And
A personality only a mama could love, I guess.
yep, yep.
Yeah.
And then we just have the 6 chickens, a dog, and we had 3 cats up until July. I lost one of my rescue cats. She just left and never came back, and she was my favorite. And my heart still breaks because I don't know what happened to her. She just disappeared one day and never came back home. Wandered
Is
off.
it typical there in the woods that stuff? I imagine there is predators.
There is, but she was pretty, I don't know. That's the hardest part is the unknown. It's like, did she just get in a mood and decide to go away? Did something eat her? We're not really by the road. I mean, we're far off the road, and she wasn't really a wanderer, so I don't know, whatever happened to her, and she's just gone. And I still yell for her every once in a while. She's been gone for 4 months now, like she's gonna come back, but it's I can't like stop looking for her because I don't know. It's like
That's the hard part about farm life in
mhm,
general. Like not very often we think really about, especially the things we pick up and the things we pick, the primitives and things. But can you imagine the life that those people, I don't know,
yeah,
living on a farm is completely different than the typical
yeah, yeah.
life that we lead. And yes, I
Especially
don't know.
when your
They would have
heart's
been
in it.
brokenhearted all the time.
Yeah, and that's why I can't do like big because I just love everything gets a name. You just get so attached to them. I mean, because I'm with them. I get up in the morning, I do my chores, I go out at night, I do my chores, and I take care of all my animals by myself. Nobody else here really has anything to do with them, so they're like my babies. I mean, I
They're
got
like your babies,
yeah,
yeah.
and I could never have like things I had to butcher or something that would get sick and I can't do that. That's just not me. I'm
Not
not hardcore
you.
like that.
I really don't miss that part of it. Like the working ranch side of
Yep.
things, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. You hunt though,
definitely.
or no? You hunt?
I tried. Again, I get too emotional with that. And all the boys here hunt, so I kind of enjoy hunting season because I get my quiet. I mean, it's always chaos here. There's always people. They're in and out, and the boys. Some of them have girlfriends. So there's just always people in and out and going, and
How
I just kind of.
some of them are adults. Most of them are adults
They are
now, right?
um
Yeah. Yeah. I bet
adults,
it's
yeah, just
busy.
trying to
I
get
bet it's
on
busy.
their feet. It's hard in the world to get out there these days. And so Megan, the oldest, so it starts with Brody's youngest, he's 14, and then Tegan is just turned 18.
Okay.
And then we have Jake, who is 22, Noah's 23, Chase is going to be 24, and Megan's 25. And Megan's not in the house with us anymore, and all the older boys are working on getting out, like they have properties and whatever. They're just working on getting on their own, but it's tough out there. It's hard to get out on your own these days. It's not cheap. It's tough. So I don't want to. I don't want to kick them out. I
No,
mean,
if
there are
you
days, but
have the
then
space and financially they're investing in other things, that's the smarter
yeah,
route for
yeah.
sure. Yeah,
No, they
absolutely.
are. And
Yeah.
they don't they do all their own laundry. I mean, they pay for their own stuff and things, and I actually enjoy having them here most of the time. I
I
love
bet.
cooking for them. I love and when they're not home, I'm just like, oh, I
Mm.
kind of miss them, like nobody's coming home for supper tonight. You know, I just I I will miss them when they're all gone. I truly will. A lot of people can't wait to get their kids out of the house, but I will miss them. I definitely will.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah, I
not
get that.
looking forward to that day really. So
I thank you for coming to do this with me. Did it go okay? You're
it
okay?
did. I can
Yeah.
rattle. When I get going,
I
I
know I
just
hate that it cuts us off because I would love to spend another hour with
yeah.
you, but it cuts us
When I
off.
get talking, I just can't, and like I said, I'm not like a out and about like people person, but I just feel comfortable. I don't know,
I do
not necessarily
too.
behind the screen or whatever, just well with you in general, because you were kind of one of my first people on this end of things to
Same.
answer all my
When I met you, I loved you. I didn't even have to be around
yeah
you. Yeah,
my
absolutely.
questions, and you always listen to me rant, rattle, and ask all the things, and yeah, so
Yeah, yeah.
I could sit and talk to you forever. And
Same. I wish it didn't cut us off. I don't think we need to go on for forever, but like
right,
Joe Rogan style, like 4 hours, but also 59, it kind of it's just
yeah,
never long enough. It's
right,
never long enough for me.
right.
So what do you have coming up? Your live sales on Wednesday and anything else you want to tell us about before we go?
Um, yeah, I just do a Facebook live sale every Wednesday, and I started a um just this last week I did a 20 pieces of copper in 20 minutes, and I got so many messages about people that enjoyed that quick da 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 da
Fun.
da.
That's
So
a
I
good
thought,
idea.
yeah, I just did a quick 20-minute sale. I mean, because a lot of people just only have that much time a day,
Sure.
and I get bored with myself sometimes. So I'm just like, that 20 pieces in 20 minutes was perfect for me because I'm a fast seller. I talk fast. I like to sell fast, and that's just my style. So I did get some good feedback on that. And so I think I'm gonna start doing that on Thursdays. Just like a 20 pieces in 20 minutes, real quick sale.
Awesome. Okay, that'll be fun.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tune
that's
in.
that's about all I got coming up. So
Okay. Thank you so much. I love you.
Yes,
I can't
love
wait.
you
One day I'm
too.
gonna meet you.
Yes,
Maybe we'll all
someday
meet in
we will.
Tennessee.
Yeah, we can meet in the middle. Well, I don't know if that's the
Certainly,
middle, but I'm not very
if
good
you
with
end up in
directions.
Tennessee, you better let me know. I don't need extra excuses to get to Tennessee, but you know.
Yeah, we can go